doing? Is there a is the sound okay in the video? And respond on the chat. It's very still today, so looks like I'll be dancing around because of mosquitoes. And I don't have my Bluetooth or anything, which is really cool. Very low audio. No! My Bluetooth I left at the other place. So let's see what we got. In-call volume. Okay. Hold on one second. Ha ha. Ha ha. This is weird. Oh my goodness. And so, can you guys hear me now that I switched this? Okay, the phone's good, but can the video hear me? Oh my goodness. We have mosquitoes with a vengeance. And so, maybe I'm supposed to walk around. Oh God, there's barely any bars. Okay, so, haha, yes. It's not an answer that I was looking for, is if the tech works. I forgot that even though it's right by the ocean, if there's no wind, it's still mosquito land. Okay. I switched the thing. So, I may have to not be here because you don't want Cartron being all jumpy. We could do it in the car, which is kind of weird. And so, yeah, these little suckers are active. So, I'm going to switch to the vehicle with the air conditioner on because I'm not going to have mosquitoes when we're talking about this thing about embodying oneness. So, I drive safe harbor, but interesting. This is really cool. You know, it's got this long dock. I've never been out on the dock, but I just don't want other people to listen in over there. And so I didn't expect the wind to be so slow. Anyway, that's it right there. It's quite a ways out. It's like maybe a 32nd of a mile. And so we're relocating to the place where I won't have become the snack food, which is kind of weird to do this from, you know, I can also reschedule this, but I'd rather do this tonight because this is just important. Of course, I don't feel prepared. Well, that's not a program. But we can't have, I mean, these are nasty mosquitoes. So, this is funny. So I'll just set up and we'll be going. Well, not going. And the light, okay. And so guys, just one moment and I'll get the tripod set up. Okay, that's yummy. Okay, so guys, how's this? Is this okay? Isn't this wild? This stuff. One time we did a broadcast in a New Jersey snowstorm in a parking lot. The snowplows going by. That was interesting. Okay, good. Well, is this good? So I'm going to have Cartron come through, and this is about embodying oneness and staying cool and bug free. So, and so I will talk with you later. Looks like the lighting's going to work. This is the lighting from the camera, from the phone. So isn't that interesting that it's becoming so simple? You don't need $100,000 equipment. You need a phone and a good signal. That's really cool. So, actually, I'm not going for a ride. I'm just going to sit here and use the new car's gas and air conditioning. Okay. Um, if Patrick has too many disturbances, he will do the broadcast another day, especially during the new moon, which he would make. Now, all right. The nature of your existence, right, has gotten to such a place where the humanity part just is so mortal, and so it's just not going to serve you anymore. And that's why it's important to now fuse together your celestial self with your earthly self. Patrick always feels unprepared if because he would like to honor the information with a consistent level of proper graphics and diagrams so that you can really get it as much as possible with a very polished presentation. But life does not afford that right now, so it is what it is. This information comes so much that we do. It creates this download, and then we define it and express it. That he can only keep up by giving this stuff out all the time. What you guys have witnessed over several years is basically a basic, massive expression of multiple systems and templates to get you to the place where you are ready for becoming an embodiment of the divine. And so here you are, poised upon that precipice of this divine possibility, where now you just in your earthly estate will not work anymore. It's just you have to go to the next level. And yes, we could keep going with these wonderful processes of taking you hither to cosmos and all of that. But we're really talking about, if we asked you, where is the greatest universe? What would you say on this chat? What? Low volume again? Okay, let's try this. And so, how is the sound now? Lean back hard to hear. Then we're going to become very friendly right now. And so, we will then continue to discuss with you. So the volume should be good. We will just keep it up. The Bluetooth is in Everland right now. And so Patrick is perpetually unprepared. Do you feel that way? And if we ask you where the greatest heaven is, what would you say? It's like the whole cosmos being available to every part that it's connected with means that you are not separate from it, right? And we've discussed this several times. So now you have this possibility to where you can access the whole universe without even leaving or going to another place or dimension. This embodiment of this process is about being able to express that holiness of who you are, truly are, into this world, and basically encase it into a material structurality, so to speak. So now, to Patrick, he was like, God, this is so important. If we bring heaven and earth together in the form of you guys, what's going to happen? You're going to go, oh my God. But that means it's like taking the training wheels off and being that God self in a world that does not, in many ways, really want it, because it means that it would have to elevate to meet that level. So it's a very interesting accomplishment, accumulation, association, interaction, and immersion of the divine into a world that is not user-friendly for divinity. One of the reasons why it's you just do all this great work and then it does not really pan out as far as a good return, a blessing, acknowledgement, or being seen by others of this great gift that you are as a blessing of heaven, is because the vibrational structure is so fundamentally opposite that. It is literally, the polarity is not designed to hold that unified field, and so therefore you are notoriously invisible. This notorious invisibility means that they cannot see you, so they cannot acknowledge you, they cannot really comprehend your being. Does this make sense, guys? So, the greatest universe is within. And it's always been this challenge, hasn't it? For prophets, sages, and seers throughout the ages to be able to just really express it to where they can do what they see is necessary to walk that talk of the high heavenly nature and leave that legacy in their wake. And so how can you take this frequency that is notoriously divine and bring it into a notoriously non-divine reality? There's some very much accommodations and adjustments and really some special designs that are necessary. And so what we've done with you is create these templating systems over the years to get you to where you can most easily traverse. It's like telecommuting between dimensions. Patrick today got very, very present in an unusual way. Like something shifted after a session today, and it's like suddenly he was like, okay, I'm disoriented. And why? Because we don't get disoriented. Is it the glasses? Are they not adjusted correctly? And what he realized, so the phrase that came out was, we wound up in an alternate dimension today. And it was one that we were not accustomed to. And that alternate dimension was the third. Because it's like he really came in and it was basically, it was disquieting to his being. Because he was like, whoa, I'm very present. Have you ever suddenly showed up? So something shifted with the work that the angels were doing through Rebecca, that then suddenly is like going, oh, okay, wow, okay, I'm really here. That means I really need to do something. How many of you realize that in order to get to your divinity, to get into your destiny, means that those things have to be removed that allow the destiny to come into this world? There's been these things where people were trying to get up, but in essence, they were attempting to bring it in. So they couldn't really, so it's like an opposite reaction. And so when we created these situations, they became very present when we worked on the divine. It's like, well, I'm really here now. That means that in order to have all of this done, being cleared up, then it allows you to be present, fully available, with your divinity intact in this carnal world of mortality. So it's like, wow, what an interesting journey. To go in, to go down, you go up. But to go up, you clear it out, and then you come in. And so this world of opposites has been noticed profusely by Patrick, of being basically along this shoreline of Atlantis. And the field that he has witnessed is that it's like two sides of a magnet coming together. The more you bring two norths of a magnet together, the more they repel. So there's a repelling frequency, and that's why there's a lot of opposites. Another thing that was very interesting that he found in this thing called the hidden brain, it's an article, this study this Indian guy has been doing for 10 years on public radio. And this most recent one was this doctor that realized they did a test of empathy and wealth. And they found out that when you are poor or do not have the resources, then you're very empathetic to humanity. But when you start getting the power and the resources and gaining an authority, the empathy lobes shut down. And so Patrick's like, well, then it's kind of like you can't have that empathy and have wealth. No wonder the world is selfish. So it really made sense. And he's like, this is interesting. So the more you have so that you can get, the more that you are not able to, because that is the design of the human mind. And then they used Abraham Lincoln as an example, where he was able to defy that process to where even though he became president, he was able to listen to even the humblest person. And so these are some of the studies that Patrick is looking at. And it's really, oh, that explains why there's so much me going on over here. It's like, wow. And that was very enlightening to him, and realizing that basically the human animal is a programmable creature that then can, once the proper program is applied, be adjusted to the higher possibilities, not so much as lessons or doing the right thing, but basically to calibrate them and to put in the proper programs so that then they can embody that next phase of evolution for their own race of souls. So it's very interesting. And so Patrick has had to deal with this resentment towards the haves, because it's like, well, how come they're not sharing? And when he heard that, it's like, oh, that's why humanity is not designed to be nice. And so the analogy the announcer was saying was, so basically, when you get wealth, you become a bad guy, but when you're poor, you become a good guy. And so isn't that interesting? So how can you change that? How can you embody that? Now, this is not about taking on the journey of changing the consciousness of abundance on planet Earth type of broadcast. This is about taking your divinity of what you truly are, your true essence of the divine, and bringing it into your physical flesh and living it and embodying it into this world. Notoriously, historically, there's been these samadhic journeys of these gurus and sages, and they get into such an elated state. And then, of course, there's these followers that then help them to bring in their great and holy message and all of that. In fact, when we first landed, we were reviewing on what type of pattern we were going to have Patrick go through by using this body, and the whole guru thing was not acceptable, because we saw what happened after that guru checked out. They can't get to heaven because they're tethered to all of those who gave their authority to them to look for enlightenment. It is not saying that guru consultancy is ill-mannered or not beneficial, but still the dynamic that we saw was like, oh, we don't want Patrick to get stuck between heaven and earth just in case there's a checkout along the way. So anyway, those are the things that are to be considered for him as he's looking at this, and how can I, as he would say, get to the place where I'm not triggered by all of this stuff. In these final tweakings of evolution, just know that you guys are at that same point. Okay, if you cannot be triggered or affected adversely, then greater power, greater energy is going to come into you to be able to dispense. Because imagine if you were angry and that was amplified 1,000 times. So it is not becoming a saint. It is becoming basically a sojourner of divinity. So now, this is the thing. that we are going to bring in of a divine nature. Patrick wanted all of these visual aids. And so this being here in Florida is very much a practicable endeavor, because it's like, what are you going to do to really make things work? And yes, more material possessions are showing up, and it's a good bout of work to get there. But still, it's like, how can you maintain a modicum of decency by maintaining connection with your own soul and spirit and greater purpose without being caught in this cacophony of abundance? And so we are going to do your 3 breaths, and then we will take you to that next level. Oh, we're in the car. This can charge up the phone. How nice. So now, you guys, you've done it now. We're going to have to do this stuff to you that's really going to amp up your journey. Otherwise, why in the heck would you keep showing up here instead of doing something like staying home because you can't vibe with anybody on a Saturday night type of thing? Like other light workers, closet shut-ins, there's nothing to do. I'm already vibing. I like cooking and being with myself. There's a whole, just to let you guys know what's happening right now, which is 2020 right now. This big... Okay, so how's the sound? Again. We will have to act less Italian by having motions and movements and be less wiggly for you. And so, the nature of your existence... Oh, the sound's low again. Okay. Okay, how is the sound now? Is it going to work? Quiet. Yes, Solfeggio, it is so topsy-turvy. Can you guys hear now? Or, camera switching. Okay, good. Your process means that you have no choice but to breathe the bridge to bring this process in. So let us begin the process now. On your first breath, breathe in yourself, the earthly self. Hold that. Exhale, release who you are. Fall into the peacefulness. Breathe in the peacefulness and the purpose. Hold that. Mangle it. Exhale, fall into the solace, the quiet within the stillness. Third breath, breathe in the soul, above, with the solace, discreate. Curtain opens, exhale, fall into your soul. Feel this immolation. Ironically, it would be nice to be able to just take your soul and just wear it out, right? But the soul in the body is but one aspect of a heavenly life. And so there's this whole thing where you, by joining the lives, contemplate what that is. What would that mean? That means your divinity of a divine nature is in this world of lack, limitation, separation, blah, 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 that relishes in negation, negativity, and death. And you're bringing in all this life. It's like, well, how can we do this without becoming a target, etc., etc.? And, the brighter the candle, the more the moth is drawn to it type of thing, to where you get to this certain level. And though there are 1,000 different methodologies to be able to get you to where you can embody that samadhic state, that divinity, And that's where you will be heading, to be in this very divine frequency. See, there's this realm between realms that you can have in a body. And it's like a realm that is beyond enchantment, where it's so magical, so amazing, that now you are on this giant object of a vehicle called this divinity and this destiny, and you're just along for this ride. So it's like this giant truck and you're this little driver in it type of flow, because it's so amazing, so wow, that you're just awestruck at every moment of how it works. And so, one of the things that we're doing now, instead of just saying, okay, let's all get there and we'll just be spaced out as we allow God to work through us, means that you are also going to be able to embody and take the lead in running that energy as one of the divine portents of, as a vehicle of that. So, in this breath of soul that you guys are going to do, let's see if we can get in this breath of soul. Now, on the count of 3, breathe in, bring your focus there. Okay, now on the count of 3, be above your veil through your God gate. 1, 2, 3. And now exhale, calibrate into the divine. You see, we've never gotten certain catalyzations for beings that we've worked on. So this would be a new case if we did that, but it's not necessary at this moment. And what it would be almost like these special abilities to be able to really transfigure the highest divinity into the material world. You see, there's a lot of beings that are attempting and have through the millenniums, thousands of years, attempted to really bring in that divine energy and brought it in. But it's always compromised and negated and, in essence, bastardized to the point where it can fit into a little material world. Remember we said that you were invisible because you are just a different science and it can't be seen. You're like becoming part of the unseen realm. Well, it's like you, in the courtroom in a jurisdiction of a court where the judge is there, part of the sovereignty journey was such that a person of substance, born of the Creator on the land, right, that's a sovereign individual, would go into a court which is for the debtor, the public. And so then they would say, I am a sovereign being here. And if they're not past that bar, they could be standing right in front of the judge, but the judge would not see them because they are of substance and the courtroom is of fiction. It is an artificial construct created by mankind. And so the sovereign person who comes in, shows up with good sincerity, saying, you have no jurisdiction over me, that person could be standing there and they could be arrested for failure to appear because substance cannot go into a fiction. And so in this way, you are of a celestial nature, a divine substance that cannot be seen by the fiction of the world of matter. So isn't that trippy? So how are we going to get you to really come in and shine that light and bring that soul out? Because if you do, imagine what you could do as a divine vessel. You could then be a real transmitter of this thing. Now, we're not going to jam-pack you with way TMI, too much information, about how a divine science and a divine life where we engineer new things and everything can work. We will establish a foundation of it so that you can then be available to its integration. And as you go up in essence, in vibration and frequency, you become available. So let's create the structure that will become like the architectural blueprint that you can use to build your connection to heaven and between heaven and earth. And so, 1, 2, 3, you are above the veil. You look down at your soul through that gateway. You can see yourself. And now we're going to, you can say these words. I now invoke my causal counsel, the causation. This is the group that it causes things to come into precipitation. So I now invoke my causal counsel. Please come forward. And Archangel Michael, please sound the clarion call as we open the portal to the Grand Hall of the Archangels. Well, Bigfoot, it depends. It seems like there's some glitches that you're dealing with. And we're still studying them after several years. It's like, why does this default happen with you to where it automatically creates a definition of your existence on a daily basis sometimes? Of why you so vibrationally and energetically and presence, your essence is available for that experience. The same way that you have that thing going on with your neural systems. So we are looking at that, and you might be one of the vessels that allows us to create the perfect miracle healing system that we can bring into this world, which is to basically take your perfected light body, bring it in, and the body just goes towards it on a more practical, kinetic level. And so everybody, Causal Council, we open up a gateway to the Galactic Federation of Worlds, also Saint Germain, to the Ascended Lord and Lady Masters of Shambhala. The name that has come forth is Lord Lanto. You can look him up. We're going to ask the Phoenix to also come forward. Did you feel like, oh, that's interesting type of vibe when we brought it in, asked it to come forward? That's because of what we're about to do with you, with the Phoenix assistance. You see, you guys are not functional in either earth or heaven. You are the ones who are bridges in between. And as such, you cannot have a full embodiment, a full accomplishment, a full expression of your celestial nature up in the divine above this earth, nor can you come in and have a full expression of your great spiritual divinity in this matter. And so we are having to create a different kind of vehicle, a vehicle able to be tempered and traversed through dimensions. Are you guys okay with this experiment that you will become the subject, test subject, crash dummies? Well, actually, crash geniuses. And so let us do this. Greetings, and we're calling upon your higher self team not to be participating, but basically to stand as witness, because we want them to get a full recording of your current evolution. Greetings, great and mighty councils, and thank you for attending this sacred enclave of awakening. We are gathered here to basically initiate a new type of Homo sapien. Now, guys, what we're talking about is the type of body that we're looking at using you as an experiment. You'll be the beta testers of this. Because it has to be able to traverse freely without hindrance. And if you're not wanting to do this, then you can just say no thanks. And so now, in your soul, where you breathe into, in your crystal temple of love, we're amplifying that with your sun, S-U-N, of God made of your soul. So just see that crystal temple of love in your soul's heart now expand, become very, very bright. To where it just burns through you, it illuminates through you like there's no flesh in the way. That's how bright it is. This is almost, it's like a nuclear furnace in a laboratory in a mothership. And it's like a very intense cosmic radiation that we just tempered you with your own soul. And now, as we do this, we are going to take your heart and we're going to bring it up as a testimony. So we're not pulling it out of your chest, but we are taking your heart to stand as witness for who you are. So 1, 2, 3. Feel the heart being lifted up and standing in a council gathering, an enclave, standing before the different councils. And now, on the count of 3, we are going to ignite, and you're going to breathe in that soul light. 1, 2, 3. Up above in that chamber, from your own heart, from the crystal temple, right? Breathe it in, hold it, and exhale your soul light to all the council members now. Greetings, councils. Thank you for attending these gatherings. We have here these beings who are now consenting to become the liaisons of divinity upon the earth realm. And it is very much different what these beings are doing, because they are going to be utilizing these sciences that allow them to have a full embodiment of their divinity, but also a full embodiment of their physicality up in heaven. And so, councils, what this is before you is a demonstration of the power of the soul that they possess, that is showing you that humanity, as the workers of light, this particular group, can hold that level of frequency. Therefore, they are sufficiently qualified to proceed. Now, the nature of their existences, having corporeal temples of flesh, is such that this carbon-based dynamics and the physics that come with it, councils, has been notoriously limiting. This has been the reference of their flesh, housing their mind, their spirit, and their soul, and basically that living, breathing, organic temple on earth that allows them time and time, life and life again, to be able to express and go through these covenant evolutions of covenant, everybody. It's not so much an individual that's evolving, it is this type of agreement. And so, as these covenants evolve and grow and ascend and awaken, that which has been stalwart for millenniums now is looking at waking up to a new possibility. And so it is these beings that hold this within their chest. This is their soul light. It should kill them, but they are tempered. They are now able to be calibrated for this great and mighty next step of bringing in a superior frequency of heaven into a basal reality of earth. And so, councils, we are going to ask the Phoenix to now come into the center of this enclave of those sons of God who illuminate around here in this General Assembly chamber. And so, all of you guys, you're in this circle, and then this Phoenix, the firebird, shows up in the midst of you. And now, great and mighty Phoenix, we wish to truly thank you for all this amazing service that you've done. You really are one of the more glorious primordial elements and essences, that an elemental that is just doing such an amazing job. So thank you for being that which stitches heaven and earth together throughout time. It is your ability, great Phoenix, that you can then traverse. You are one of the only beings, you and the dragons, that can go between dimensions like that. And so you must burn up, you must die each time, and then be reborn up in heaven to report the deeds of a golden heart of humanity. And so you must perish and then rise again from the ashes of your own former reality. As such, the alchemy of transversation between dimensions is in the nature of your soul, and it is the secret of wisdom of your esoterica. As such, we wish now to, we are requesting that you are able to assist these sons of God that surround you at this time, to breathe your mighty breath upon them, that then so they too may be able to traverse dimensions but without having to die. So we are putting in a special quotient of coding that will allow them to go and traverse freely and keep their bodies in the different dimensions intact. And so this can be ignited by you. And so, on the count of 3, Great Phoenix, would you please breathe your fire and breathe it on all of these souls? So, everybody, are you guys ready to have the Phoenix temper you in the forge and the crucible of the universe itself? And so, Great Phoenix, we open these temples of love so that the sons of God can now shine brightly. We ask that now you breathe your breath of alchemy, of transformation, of awakening, of ascension, and that which holds the keys of destiny into the hearts and the souls and these sons of man. Now, guys, we're talking about S-U-N, not S-O-N-S. So everybody open up your chest area, and now the Phoenix will provide the temperance. So just feel this as this burns through you. It will go into your temple of love, but then it will go through your whole structure of being. And so, as the Phoenix comes to you and it breathes this breath upon you, you are being tempered so that the essence of your organic nature is becoming crystalline and tempered. This is a vessel that is neither flesh nor spirit. It is both. And so this then will allow you to have the integrity and the wherewithal of your traversing without the travails of destruction, much like what the Phoenix is. So everybody, as the Phoenix comes by, breathe in that breath of fire and let it just burn you through. So everybody breathe in the Phoenix fire now. That is being breathed out. And let it just burn your lower nature away. And so, as this happens, feel your flesh becoming almost like a crystal gel-like geometric type structure, but not so much geometric, but more like the curvy type stuff like your body. But this is a tempered, light body. And so now just feel your flesh being replaced with crystalline essence. Breathe in this crystalline essence. Breathe it out into your physical auric field. Feel this tempering and the adjustment and the calibration. Second breath of this crystalline light body. Breathe it in. And breathe it out to the emotional states of your being. Exhaling and going from an earthly emotional state to a universal state of emotional compassion, one that is not disincarnated from the creation, but one that is basically embraces the holistic quality of that separation. And now, this third breath of this crystal temperance, breathe it in and hold it. And now exhale to your mind. 1, 2, 3, and see your mind, all of that, almost like the type of design of a crystal skull, that substance. So it's really like a crystal, but it's different. And if you really get a good look, you might not need drugs for the rest of your life. And so, as the mind gets crystallized, just see the brain turn into this crystal-like substance. So the same shape, but becoming like a crystalline tempered light. And now breathe in this other breath again. Hold it and exhale out to the spiritual body. And you are tempering this with the breath of the phoenix that's coming through you to temper this energy, alchemizing your spiritual purpose and your connection to the world in the unseen realms. And just see this solidifying into a crystalline essence. So your BMSE, body, mind, spirit, emotion, is being tempered with crystal light so that then you'll be able to handle the ravages of the intensity of the extreme differences of density and unified field. And so, now, everybody, you are going to take another breath of that temperance and hold it. And this time, when you exhale, you're expanding yourself to fit into that body. 1, 2, 3. Let go of the breath and see yourself breathing you into the new you. And now fit it on. It's like you're putting on your diving suit. Well, it's not so diving anymore, is it? It's becoming a very high frequency device. If it can handle the gamma fields of the star Earth that the new Earth is going to become, and well as the most densest energy on Earth, then we have Houston, we have no problem. And so now breathe in again, temper yourself into that essence. And so what we've done is we've created a new type of light body, one that is crystalline and gel-like, so it is solidified yet malleable. It doesn't mean you're going to turn into an octopus when you go swimming. It means that this can adapt and adjust. And so it's not so much a malleability of physical shape change, it's a malleability of the essence of calibration of frequency, such as if you go through the photonic or the realms of essence or whatever high divine nature, that you can easily do that to go past that escarpment that used to hinder you. And then you just basically come in and you can then really embody it. So everybody, your assignments are to see this and visualize this, and it can be easy to lose that thought because it's a quantum state in the esoteric natures, not some physical 3D level. And so take this breath and keep tempering everything in for yourself and in your life. We are going to take you on a journey, not now, but when there is the appropriate timing, and we will do some test runs on your spacesuits. And so it is a very interesting grand nature. Can you guys feel this? How does it feel? And how are you doing? Respond on the chat, please. And so, this new type of form should be able to go into the Exodus realm, the New Earth realm, and then also the realms of essence that are beyond the New Earth. But we're just keeping it, just into the New Earth of this Earth type of thing. Now, it isn't about you going out and doing this blessings in a hero's cape. This is about something, if we get it to work, that means we've come up with a new prototype, a new wardrobe of your being, so that you can embody a flesh at the same time that you can also be a vessel of spirit. And once this gets dialed in, then it can be used to tweak things such as your health and make adjustments. Because we really are talking about sandwiching two notoriously separate levels of self. And now to bring that in, well, the implications are quite astounding, are they not? And so, causal board of each of these great sons of God, we ask that you now to facilitate the process of precipitation of their beings, not in an uncomfortable or a dishonorable way, dishonorable of the polarity, but in a way that basically has a beautiful occupancy of that possibility, and it becomes a stronger and stronger reality for them, so that this essence of spirit and destiny and prophecy and fate and fulfillment of all that then becomes that which will take over, and you'll go on this amazing ride of serendipity and synchronicity. And so, isn't that interesting? If you describe on the chat, then we will be able to monitor your commentaries. And so, how are you guys doing? This is something to not go beyond as far as adding more stuff. If you imagine, if you have a really good vessel that can go between dimensions, and it's very hearty, it's sturdy, and you can be able to traverse back and forth, then you got your suit really intact. And if it works, then we can use it as one of our systems that can then really give people a stable light body structure that could basically remove the necessity of ascension symptoms. Yes, tank in my living room. Tanks a lot. And so, it's like, so this is as far as we are going to go with this. There will be 3 broadcasts this next week. Patrick will see about putting out the newsletter. And thank you so much. So your assignments, do you recall? Keep breathing this crystalline temperance of light and breathe it out into that. Each breath, feel yourself integrating and fitting into this beautiful suit. It will feel a lot lighter than your water body. And so, kind of like a bionic higher self coming in. And so we're not going to sandwich it together. A calibration time is required. And so this will be really great, because some of the bells and whistles that you got, it's not about you pressing buttons and seeing what happens like Iron Man. This is about being able to just be available for very great energies that your essence body can handle. In fact, that's a good way to pull it. We have just created an essence body for Earth. Pen. Anyway, that's very good. Perhaps we should come up with a system then. If we create this thing and people have the alleviation of their discomforts, what is that worth for the Earth? That is what you guys are doing as templates of opportunity. It's like, wow, because you are doing this pioneering work and assisting us in perfecting and creating this. You'll see it's not something you pull off the shelf from the halls of Genesis. These are new designs that are required because your evolutions have gone beyond what you have before and hitherto unavailable. So now you're like, wow, look at me, I'm doing really great. And this time we're going to see about having it not all be destroyed. If there's going to be a hole punching party, then it's time for that vibration, that universe to be separated so that it can fulfill itself for all those that are choosing it. But you guys are choosing the light of divinity and its destiny. We are complete. Tomorrow there'll be a full moon broadcast. This is Cartron. Have a wonderful day and a beautiful ascension. Farewell. Oh, that was interesting. It's like coming out of the lab real quick. And suddenly you just go blink and you're in the body, in the car on Earth. When you were up in a cosmic lab doing some cool crystal body designs. Wow. And yes, Cartron is correct. I got very present this afternoon. I'm like, okay, guys, this is divinely suspicious. Why are you having me show up so much? I'm fine with not being here that much. Now people are really going to see me. And so it's very interesting. I would love to be quiet, but I can't. As far as, but we got to keep doing this work. It'll take different forms. And so, yes, it will assist in maintaining embodiment. And if this works right, we have a vessel for perfect health, but we don't know yet. And so that's all that. Tomorrow and a few days, there's going to be 3 more broadcasts. One of them is Halloween. One of them is Monday. So probably Wednesday. And so thank you so much. This is, I believe, the final subscription broadcast, but we're having the free stuff. Thank you, everybody who was a part of the Conscious Living Festival or Expo in Perth, Australia. You guys really helped hold that energy while we were starting the tech. They never did broadcast before. And so that's cool. We have a Land Down Under connection. Yes, they do see me. And it's fine. It's like an obsessive compulsive, wow, what is that creature type of vibes. Like, okay, whatever. Thirders are like voyeurs, they like to watch. But so then, so do ascended masters and angels. Ooh, look at that. And so thank you so much for being a part of this and accommodating us when we were in the car so that mosquitoes would not turn us into, Pippi Longstocking. And so we'll talk to you guys later. Report on what happens because this is a new type of body. You know how to get a hold of me. So, yay, life is good. I will talk with you later. Bye.